Hello everyone, I am Elizabeth Alvarez and today I'm going to talk to you about some issues regarding the learning of vocabulary. First of all, have you ever noticed that English teachers are always focusing on things like grammar or pronunciation, but not really in vocabulary? Since 1970, some linguists have commented that vocabulary acquisition had received short shrift from applied linguistics and that the situation has not changed significantly. This leads to the problems that many learners face when they decide to learn vocabulary by themselves. Sometimes, the context of the utterance leads a listener to have a different interpretation. For example, if a Swedish guy says, "My dad has an affair in that village," he confused the Swedish word affair, which means shop, with the English word affair, which can mean extramarital relationship, and therefore the meaning of the sentence totally changes. It is also clear that the task of vocabulary learning is a substantial one for the EFL learner. A native speaker child on entering school at the age of 5 or 6 will already have a productive vocabulary of some 2,000 to 3,000 words, while the basic lexicons used to design the higher levels of graded readers intended for EFL adults goes from 2,200 to 2,500 words. And the lexicon of adult native speakers is an estimate of 17,000 words for the average educated speaker. Fortunately, recent years have seen a greater awareness of the questions which need to be addressed with regard to vocabulary learning, such as what strategies do learners use to acquire new words or to retain them? What exactly do learners learn about a word when they acquire it? In the initial stages of learning a foreign language, which words are the most useful to learn? And why are some words easier to learn than others? So, in order to understand better the task involved in learning vocabulary, we need to look at two aspects, the denotative and the connotative meaning of words. The denotative meaning is the reference a word has to an object, action, or event in the physical world. However, the task of learning vocabulary in relation to physical objects is complicated because of the fact that languages reflect the world in different ways and use different categories to describe it. For example, every human being has two grandmothers, but there is only one word in English for both your mother's mother and your father's mother. However, some languages have two different words for some concepts. Another example, English has two words for a large area of water, sea and lake, whereas Swedish has one, hö. And this is because some Swedish lakes have wide channels to the sea and it is difficult to distinguish where the lake ends and the sea begins. Now, the connotative meaning relates to the attitudes and emotions of a language user in choosing a word and the influence of these on the listener or reader's interpretation of the word. A simple example of this will be to consider the following group of adjectives used to describe people and to decide which have positive associations and which negative. Some of these words have always a positive connotation, for example the adjective wise, or always a negative connotation, like arrogant. But other words depend on the context of use and the impression the speaker or writer is trying to create, like the word ambitious. The teacher can help to develop appropriate awareness of connotative meaning in the target language by encouraging extensive exposure to authentic reading and listening material so that the students will encounter and learn from a wide range of texts that contain connotative meaning. The second aspect of meaning involves the sense relations that exist among words. These relations can be found in two dimensions, the syntagmatic relations and the paradigmatic relations. The syntagmatic relations are relations between words as they occur in sequence. Words that co-occur with high frequency are called collocations, such as a long road, a ripe banana, and the savage dog. The students have to learn that there are certain words which are incompatible with some adjectives, and that we cannot say a tall road, a mature banana, or a barbaric dog, but that these adjectives frequently collocate with other nouns. For example, a tall man, a mature person, and a barbaric practice. A growing knowledge of acceptable collocations will build associations which give learners clues about compatibility. However, with other collocations, it is not possible to predict from knowing the meaning of each word in the collocation what is and what is not acceptable. These are more idiomatic expressions, and they are common in the speech and writing of native speakers, and therefore need to be a part of language learning. Idioms seem to give enthusiasm to some learners, and the teacher may need to guide them towards the most useful ones, but for other students, collocations, both idiomatic and non-idiomatic, are a problematic area. Now, words do not only have sequential relationships, they exist in relations with other words in the network of meanings, and the most common of these relationships are synonymy, antonymy, and hyponymy. A simple way of defining synonymy is to say that, in a given context, one linguistic item can be exchanged for another without changing the meaning of the sentence or utterance. For example, in the sentence, he answered the question courteously. A possible synonym for courteously could be politely because the meaning doesn't change. Nevertheless, it has to be considered that words are not substitutable in all contexts. In fact, synonyms are hard to find because meaning depends on the context. That's why, in the sentence, he set about the task unhappily as he was not convinced of a positive outcome. The word unhappily cannot be substituted by the word sadly, although they may be regarded as synonyms in another context. With higher level students, teaching synonymous words can assist with the problem of repetitious writing. For instance, teaching the words questions, issues, matters, and concerns through their formulation procedure is a way of building range and variety in vocabulary use. The term antonymy covers a number of relationships often thought of as opposites. Complementarity is used for oppositions such as male and female and dead and alive, where one term excludes the other. Converseness is a relationship where one term implies the other, as with impert and expert, parent and child, and trainer and trainee. And in gradable antonymy, it is possible to create a scale of items. For instance, talking about water, there are the words boiling, hot, warm, lukewarm, cool, cold, and icy. Moreover, just like with synonyms, words have different opposites in different contexts. For example, soft collocates with a number of nouns and takes a different antonym with each. Soft water and hard water, soft material and rough material, soft music and loud music, and soft color and bright color. Finally, hyponymy is a relationship whereby one word includes others within a hierarchy, so that we have superordinate words and subordinate words. In this example, flower is the superordinate word in the relationship, and words like carnation, rose, tulip, and sunflower are subordinate hyponyms of flower and co-hyponyms of each other. So, the general question that arises from a consideration of the linguistic relations between words is the extent to which they can be usefully and explicitly exploited by the teacher. I hope you have enjoyed the video and the information was clear. If you have any question, leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching. See you!